beating the wind, but I won't let her get under my skin. Down in Georgia, where the blues run deep, crooked justice, a secret they keep. But I see through her lies, I see the truth. Gonna make her pay for what she do. Fanny's got a reputation to uphold, but her tactics are shady. Story untold, she thinks she's clever, but I'm on to her game. I'll expose her ways and put her to shame.
Hey, hello folks. Oh, I haven't used that song in quite some time. But it's very fitting because we are now returning to Fulton County. To the Wolfenbarger's trial, which is, to nobody's surprise, an absolute fustercluck. Now, I haven't covered it on my channel because I cover other things, and I sincerely get PTSD from hearing Miss Hylkon's voice. I do listen to it from time to time. And today, Mr. Wolfenbarger's attorney did it was a brilliant move. So I just now I have to cover this. I have to, because this was, I heard it. I mean, in the background, I was listening in on both Catnot Williams and Broken Baker, and it just it froze me, and not froze me, but it caught me by surprise, and I wondered, that's strange. Why would he choose to do that? Why would he choose to do that? And what was it? Well, it was during the DV, the state's domestic violence expert. And Miss Hylton had the voir dire, as, not uncommon, standard. And then he deferred his voir dire. And that made me, okay, that's strange. Why on earth would he do that? Is it because he has nothing, or is it because he has something? Now, generally about this case, it's insanity to even bring it, in my opinion. There is literally zero new evidence that wasn't known to the state in 2003, when they discovered they had misgendered the body. Nothing. For over 20 years, nothing new has happened except one thing. Her serial killer dad died. That's the new thing. Now, you would imagine. Yeah, I don't know what went through Fanny Willie's head when she decided, we are going after this cold case, when there's literally zero new evidence in a family where the victims' parents are serial killers. Now, I use plural here because in my personal opinion, her mother is about equally guilty. If not for her, he would probably be caught after the first murder, the dad. but she helped, concealing the body and everything. And so, yeah. But back then in the serial killer dad trial, she got a year probation and $1,000 fine for helping a serial killer cover up his murder. Why? Because she testified. That was Melissa's mother. In my opinion, they let a serial killer free. So with that alone, since his targets were family members and friends. So how would you ever go past reasonable doubts? And maybe a bunch of you have seen more of this trial than I have, but for me, it's not even close. It really is not even close. Hey, thank you, Gigi. Yes, if you want to support my trip to the United States, you can either buy me a coffee. That money I can access in a couple of weeks after you deposit it, or PayPal, because that I can access immediately. It is pinned on the top of the chat. Now, where am I going in the United States? I'm going to Utah. I'm meeting up with Dani Ahn and her new baby. I am also meeting up with Connor, Jeff's Legal Vice's son, who's also known by Vice Baby. And I'm also going to visit Jeff at his final resting place. On top of that, I'm renting an RV, and I'm going to travel around in the national parks and look at stuff. Then I'm going to Miami to meet up with Steve Gosney and other people. Now, me and Steve Gosney, you will see on Saturday. We will do a separate stream on Saturday, because we will have a meetup in Miami, or in exactly 1 month. Let's see here. Oh, wrong button. It will be Saturday, September 20th. We have located a bar restaurant kind of place where we will simply have a meetup if you are in the neighborhood. Now, if you want to meet me in Utah, just let me know. And because I will be near Logan, near Indianapolis, and at one point I will go down south as well. And I will make it known roughly where I am if you want to meet up in Utah. Okay, back to this. This case is lazy and a waste of time. It's a waste of taxpayers' money. Now, this is nothing new. We know that Fani Willis loves to waste everybody's time and money. And we also know that she went in front of the city board, who approves or disapproves of her budget suggestions. And she called them all liars because they did not want to increase her budget. And she blamed, how are we going to afford all of this? And this is why people are in jail for so long, because you won't give me more money. No, Fani Willis, it is because you waste money on shit trials. You do trials to get yourself publicity so you can get speaking fees. You did know that Fani Willis has, in the 5 or 6 years since she took office, she went from flat out broke to owning real estate for, I believe it is more than $6 million. And I'm not even counting in her what else she has. How do you $1 million per year, more than $1 million per year, on top of her normal salary she makes out of speaking fees, holding events? Seriously? Her personal wealth after 5.5 years is bigger than the DA's office alleged deficit. If you really cared, Fanny, you can actually donate it. But you won't. You won't. We all know that. But all right, enough here. Now, what did happen in the trial today that caught me off guard? Well, it was this person. This is the state's domestic violence expert, which Simone Hilton. Now, they had a motion to, the defense said, what does she actually bring to the table? Yesterday, I believe. And so what does she bring to the table? Well, she is, according to the court, a DV expert who can speak in generality about DV victims and survivors and stuff like that. Which, I mean, I would have expected this to come into this trial at some point. So nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Except after she did the voir dire, or do you have training, do you have experience, yada, yada, yada. Mr. Wolfenbarger's attorney said, I'm going to defer my voir dire until cross-examination, which caught Miss Hilton and the judge by surprise. And me, frankly. What, why? But then, I'm going to move right into the cross-examination, because the direct examination was, frankly, not very eventful. There were hypotheticals from Miss Hilton, who, non-surprisingly, was the exact things they claim Mr. Wolfenbarger did, to nobody's surprise. But the first few minutes here, I mean, no, actually, the entire cross-examination here should be a case study on how to expose somebody. So, folks, let's put on the subtitles. And then let's just listen. Let's hear. Volume up. Enhanced.
Thank you. Mr. Samuel, questions for this witness? I don't want to mess up my other ink.
Good morning. Good afternoon, Ms. James.
Good afternoon.
Not doctor yet, right?
Almost.
Almost.
Not a doctor yet. Now, nothing new. Sometimes you just, it takes time to be whatever kind of doctor she wants to be. If it's psychologist, psychiatrist, I really don't care. There are DV experts out there that has no training or no formal training at all, but who are really good at what they do, so they can testify about this.
When will you be doctor?
May of 2026.
Okay, so she's a year out. So she's 2 years in and 1 year out, roughly. Out of whatever. Psychologist, psychiatrist is usually 3 years, I believe.
Excellent. You and I met only once before, right?
Yes.
A couple weeks ago. In this courtroom, right?
Yes, about a week ago.
I'm going to ask you some of the same questions as Ms. Hilton. First of all, you actually worked at the Fulton County DA's office for quite some time, right?
Yes.
How many years were you working there?
I started work in July of 2019, and I left in January of 2023.
So she was an employee of Fannie Willis. Okay. Between 2019 and 2023. So she actually started before Fannie Willis took office. And then she worked there for 3 years under Fannie Willis. And then, and of course, the district attorneys and assistant district attorneys. Okay. That, I mean, I can't say it's unusual. Yeah, I actually can say that's unusual. To go directly from the DA's office to be an expert witness for the state. I mean, that screams bias, to me at least. I know we over here where I am, of course, there are expert witnesses. But here we take the appearance of impartiality really serious. If an expert in some way, shape, or form has worked for the prosecutor, they are not testifying. They have an obligation to remove themselves just for the appearance that they might not be impartial. Yeah, she looks very pleased with herself. Yeah, but apparently in Georgia, in Fulton County, they don't give two shits on a straw about the appearance of bias or anything. We saw that in the YSL trial during with the gang experts. I mean, that was plain. Do you remember Vivarito, the alleged watch snatcher, who first was a cop, who couldn't be bothered to actually do work, so she was booted around within the department until she got on the gang expert unit, which seems to be the end station for worthless cops in Atlanta. Apparently, whatever she did there was good enough for her to start in the DA's office, helping with investigations. And then sometime a year before the trial, she went, let's see here. Yeah, it was just a few months before trial that she started at a more or less custom-made position at the Atlanta Police Department again. Almost custom-made as a, what was it? It was some kind of, she was in charge of the training and cooperation of the gang units or something like that, just months before the YSL trial started. In my opinion, purely to boost her as an expert in the trial. Now, when we listen to her in the YSL trial, Detective Vivarito, she's an unqualified moron. There's no way around it that Detective Vivarito is one of the most unqualified experts I have ever heard in a trial setting. This person, Miss James, she's qualified. I mean, there's no question about that. She is undergoing the training. She has some experience. But then you have this nagging in the back of your head. Well, you worked for them for 4 years, up until 2 years ago. Let's continue.
Okay, so 4-ish years.
Yes.
Okay. And did you work with Ms. Hilton during that time?
Yes.
But
That over here would have disqualified her as an expert. As I said earlier, we take this expert testimony serious over here. She could not have been testifying as an expert if she worked directly under, in some capacity, directly under the prosecutor in a case. Because now she is an outside expert witness getting paid by the state as an expert witness. And she was formerly an employee of the DA's office. I mean, what actually changed is she got paid more now, probably, by the DA's office. Did you hear the detective yesterday gives old Vivi a run for her money? It wasn't good. It wasn't good. Yeah, as Turnip said, she's compromised. I mean, well, let's continue here.
Mr. Fawcett or Mr. Wilson?
No.
Okay. How many times have you worked with Ms. Hilton in a case?
So in the victim advocate role, we are assigned certain courtrooms. So I would.
Yeah, she was a victim's advocate hired by the DA's office, which is an honorable position to have. Very honorable. They do great work. Yeah, I'm saying it. They do great work. Generally. I have no idea about Miss James. I don't know how well, it might have inspired her to undergo the training, which is honorable. What I'm really, yeah, you worked for them and now you still work for them. How is that not influencing you into being biased?
Only work with Miss Simone if she was doing a case.
Miss Simone? Excuse me, why are you on a first name basis in a trial with a prosecutor? It is Prosecutor Hilton or Miss Hilton. Seriously?
She was assigned to that courtroom or a case to that courtroom. And also she was the deputy, what we would call the deputy district attorney for the domestic violence unit. So she had minimal interaction with the bulk of the cases.
Asking you for a number somewhere between X and Y.
I can't really define a number.
That's not a problem. How many times have you testified as an expert in one of her cases?
I believe once.
Okay. Of the 47 times that you testified in Georgia, were they always for Fulton County?
No.
Percentage?
This sounds, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Is all of those in Georgia or all of them in Fulton County? No. Well. Oh, hello, Mr. Jingles.
Twice?
If we're looking at a percentage, most, I would say maybe 95%.
95% of, let's see, first of all, she has testified 47 times in Fulton County. 95% of that is every case but 2. We know from direct examination that she makes $250 an hour. Let's round it up. $250 times 50. What the fuck is that? Oh, where's my calculator? Is $12,500. Yeah, but that's just if you only work 1 hour per case. She doesn't. I would estimate that she spends somewhere in the region, if she's reading through everything, every meeting with the prosecutor, every phone call, and when she's testifying, at least 30 hours per case. At least. That is $375,000 in the span of 2 years. Yeah, we will get there. Yeah, on the stand, yes. But then you have all the work in the background. And as you point out in the chat, which she hasn't billed for yet. So we don't know. But my estimate is around 30 hours with all the work in the background, reading up everything, writing the report, if she actually, well, she has to kind of, talking to people, 30 hours. I think that's a decent estimate. That's almost 400,000. That's $200,000 a year. Just under $200,000 a year. Ah, Mika says she lies about her billable hours. She always saying the same thing in every case. Yeah, that's one way to get around it. But that's my estimate. She makes around $200,000 a year testifying for the testifying as an expert witness. Which, folks, it's not unusual. But folks, she's not even done with her training yet. There has to be more qualified people in Georgia than her, who does not have this incestuous connection with the DA's office. So let's assume it's $200,000 a year for 2 years and 47 cases. Now I did calculate, instead of 47, I calculate, say $350,000 over the 2 years. But when did she start testifying in DV cases? Or as in this case, she couldn't have started right out of the block after she left the DA's office. She has to have at least started her training. So maybe this is just the past 12 months. $350,000. Hey, Mika's headphones says, I personally know DV, IPV, PhDs in Georgia who aren't friends with Fanny, and they don't get these jobs. And I'm not surprised. Maybe maybe there would be something here for the feds to look in if there are any kickbacks. Yeah, this person, I don't know if she actually have treated any patients yet. Maybe she's in her training. Now, she does meet with patients under supervision. But has she actually treated anybody yet? And still she makes $250 an hour working for the DA's office. Let's continue.
Fulton County.
We're in Fulton County.
Right. So 95% of 47 would be, I don't know, 45, something like that.
But also one of those cases was with the defense.
Okay. So there was only one occasion where you ever testified for the defense?
In Fulton County.
Okay. And all the other times you were testifying either for Fulton County or, I don't know, DeKalb, Gwinnett, Cobb, somewhere, correct?
Rephrase.
Well, I was just trying to do the arithmetic, but you said 47 times. One time you testified for the defense. The other, whatever, 44 or 45 times you testified for the prosecution. And almost all in Fulton County.
Yes.
Okay. And so you're being paid now to be an expert instead of being a member of their staff and just coming in and testifying. they meaning the prosecutors. Now you went out on your own and you get to bill for your time, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And do you bill for all your time or just when you're sitting in the chair?
I bill for all my time.
Okay. So when we're late starting court in the morning and you have to sit out there, you bill $250 for that too?
Yes.
Yeah, so if she is scheduled as a witness before lunch, she gets there maybe at 9 a.m. and then she gets $250 an hour sitting down. This is 3 hours in. This is this before or after lunch? Oh, this is after lunch. All right. Yeah, let's say she went there at lunch. Okay, so just by being there, she was on the stand, I believe, a combined an hour and a half. She waited an hour and a half to get up there. That's $750. Now, for an expert witness, $250 an hour is not much. It isn't. People with decades of experience and everything get paid more. We were talking $400, $500, $600 an hour. She got, it was the 12:30 start. Okay. So $250, but next year she can charge $300 because she has another year under her, and then she has completed her education. All of a sudden, we're talking about $350, $400 a month, working for the DA's office, working freelance for the DA's office. I mean, folks, there are certain areas where I probably could be an expert witness over here. I could probably be an expert witness in certain areas in the United States as well. But if I worked for a person, say I worked for, let's say, a good prosecutor, the one in Arizona. Let's say I worked for him or for 4 years. I would never in my life be an expert witness for him. I don't have it in me because I have a conscience, I have morals, I have ethics. But for some people, hey, $250 an hour, I'll say anything you want. Allegedly.
Okay. We'll have to remember that, Your Honor. Do you know how much you've been paid, how much you've billed in this case, or how much your hourly has been in this case so far?
Not yet.
Well, I know you haven't finished yet, but estimate the amount of hours you've put into preparing to testify in this case.
I would say estimate of 3 or 4.
Okay.
Bullshit. Bullshit. 3 or 4 hours preparing for testifying is only the meetings with the DA's office. Not all the work she had to do in between.
And you met with Ms. Hilton, obviously, correct?
Yes.
She reviewed the questions she was going to ask you.
Yes.
She reviewed the hypotheticals she was going to ask you.
Yes.
She told you, I'm going to ask you in particular about isolation, and she said, I'm going to ask you in particular about the family, having custody of the children, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you told her what your answers were going to be when she asked you those questions, right?
Yes.
Listen, he got her now into the yes, no. I mean, he does it so effortlessly. I'm so impressed by this defense attorney. In just a few questions, he has already trained her to say yes. Listen to the question he is making here.
You know, having custody of the children, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you told her what your answers were going to be when she asked you those questions, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you?
You told her what your answers was going to be. Shouldn't that start with "it depends"? But no, if you listen to her the direct examination, everything was smugly clear, almost snarkily clear.
Did she ask you any questions? I'm curious in preparing that you said, no, I'm not going to be able to help you on that.
No.
That's very telling. So, folks, yes, I know I'm pausing a lot, but almost every question has probably a different meaning than this witness thinks. Almost every question has a double meaning. As now, did you ever tell her, no, I can't testify about that? No. Implying you're giving the answers you know the prosecution wants.
So she would say, I'm going to ask you X and Y and Z and A and B. And you said, yeah, I can help you with all those things.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a few different times and in a few different ways about your knowledge of the facts of this case. But before I do that, I'll probably end just like Ms. Hilton did with that. Your testimony, in essence, is an opinion based on a lot of experience in teaching and meeting with people and reading about the characteristics of abusive relationships, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You said, I wrote it down, that you can't put abusers in a box. I'm not talking about punishment, I'm talking about, one size fits all doesn't work, does it?
Yes.
That's correct, right?
Yes.
Okay, I asked a negative. That if you looked at did you say thousands maybe, or hundreds of abusive relationships you've looked at, more than just, a little bit, they're all different, right?
Yes.
Okay. Every relationship is unique, right?
Yes.
She's so well trained now.
Abusers, and I'll just say
Again, I'm so impressed by this defense attorney. I think he had her trained to answer yes within 3 or 4 questions. He had her trained. It's impressive.
partners, whether they're gay, or lesbian, or trans, or male, female, or whatever, they can be wealthy and still have an abusive relationship.
Yes.
They can be poor, poverty-stricken, and still have an abusive relationship.
Yes.
There can be a family history of abuse, a family history of abuse. In other words, generation to generation, correct?
Yes.
Sometimes you'll see partners for whom both sets of parents were in fact abusive, right?
Yes.
But sometimes you'll see partners for whom the parents, there's no evidence of any history of abuse in the generation above the one that you're looking at, right?
Yes.
Some parents, again, I'm talking parents of the partners, are abusive to each other.
How he's elegantly bringing in the serial killer parents here. The jury already knows about this. Dad, serial killer. Mom was on the stand a few days ago, who, in my opinion, is also a serial killer, because without her, the Flint Lake killer could not have gotten away with all his murders without her. And Melissa's mother got away with a year probation and $1,000 fine for basically something that should be multiple life in prison sentences, and she got away with probation because somehow, to this day, a lot of people think that women can't be murderers. Hey, Kat. Hey. Yes, I am reacting to this expert witness. Yeah, I know. In her testimony, in the mother's testimony, way back when, yeah, I helped with dispose of some of the bodies and everything. I've been reading in a bit about those old cases, and I got this weird feeling. Now, don't take my word for it, as per usual. I never claim I'm a body language expert or a language expert or anything of the sort. It's just a nagging feeling that the dad was mom's tool to get even with family members and friends. I have this nagging feeling. But okay, back to this one. Yeah, defense attorney has her almost too well trained in answering his questions with yes, even when he asked the negative. And I think this really gets through to the jury because he's very effective.
Right?
Yes.
Some parents are abusive to their children, correct?
Yes.
Including the people you look at who then become the partners in the abusive relationship.
Rephrase.
Okay, I've got two generations
Yes.
here. I got the generation above the partners being however you want to characterize them, whether man, woman, or whatever, abuser and what was the other word? Driver, you said? You said instead of victim, we call them
Survivors.
Survivor and
well, technically, Melissa didn't survive.
I'm looking at the generation above. Sometimes they're abusive to each other, right?
Yes.
And both the abuser and the survivor may think of their parents and think, this is normal. This is how I was brought up in my family, and justify it in their head, correct?
Yes.
And so what I was asking then was, is it sometimes the case that the parents of either the abuser or the survivor are abusive to that person?
Yes.
So abuse isn't always just limited to same generation, if you will.
No.
You can be abusive to your children, whether your children are adults or teenagers, or you can be abusive to your grandparents, right?
Yes.
This defense attorney is running circles around this DV expert, probably because he has heard hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of experts in his years as a defense attorney, and he already have it trained. Folks, Catnot Williams sent five memberships. Thank you so much to the Sock Snatcher. Quiz creates Living on Love. Lucy Snakes Will Hiss. Mariah Cheyenne. And member for 17 months. And says the 5 new members are better suspects. Oh. Coke Fairy says, it's because she's not an expert. The bar for being an expert in Fulton County is ridiculously low. I mean, remember Pinch and Zoom guy who we know have testified in a lot of cases in Georgia, who was more or less exposed in the YSL trial as a complete hack. Well, that was pre-trial. If you don't know about Pinch and Zoom guy, I think I have a 2-year-old video about it. It's absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Where was I? Yes. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Kat. What's going on? Hey, Serenity, everybody's entitled to an opinion. If you're convinced, sure. Are you convinced beyond a reasonable doubt? Have you seen this trial? Or did you go in with a predetermined opinion? And you stick to that opinion no matter what? At least ask yourself that question. Hey, Catnote Williams found it. My Pinch and Zoom video. Pinch and Zoom guy video. It's hilarious. You need to see this. All right, again, back to this.
Some parents spank their children, some parents don't spank their children, right?
Yes.
We wouldn't call that abuse unless it went overboard, correct?
I can't define that in this context.
Okay, not a problem.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a kind of a sensitive subject in a lot of countries where, but you are the expert, Miss, what's her face? I don't care what her name is. Shouldn't you be able, as an expert, to you're an expert on domestic violence. That is both inter-partner and parent to children. And you can't make an opinion on that? Now, in this case, the abuse from the serial killer parents on their children was severe. Extremely severe. And I heard in the direct examination where she talked about the rescuer of a person who has gone through abusive parents. That in itself is a red flag. Which got me a bit, say what now? Now, there's a difference between two people meeting. Okay, she's damaged. Let's help her. They live happily ever after. And then you have people, both men and women, who are so incredibly destroyed by their parents that no matter what, their reaction will be as they are trained to be abused victims, no matter what. And I know about cases where, in this case, the man so incredibly used to being abused that even the slightest criticism for him, that was just a continuous abuse from his parents and everything. So every case is different. And I kind of, when she said that, the rescuer, that is a red flag in itself. Well, there's a lot of damaged people out there. What are you saying, miss? That nobody should get in a relationship with the damaged person. Well, if everybody gone by that advice, then there wouldn't be many relationships out there. All right, I'm getting way out sidetracked here. Let's continue.
I guess some parents are guilty of crimes, right? Parents of the partners you're looking at.
Yes.
You ever had a case, or do you have any experience in a case where the partners, the alleged abuser and the alleged survivor, the people you're looking at, that one of them is the child of a serial murderer?
No.
Would that be unusual?
I can't answer that in
Would
this
that
context.
fit, I'm sorry.
I can't answer that for you. I'm sorry.
Would that fit the dynamic that you're looking at, or would that be kind of outside the wheel and have to try to figure out what's going on there?
It sounds like out of the scope.
Yeah.
That's how this kind of avoidance is. You're an expert witness. You have been answering hypotheticals from Simone Hilton for, what was it, an hour? And now all of a sudden, no, it's out of the scope. It's out of the jury hears this, and honestly, it does not look good because folks, an expert in a trial is supposed to be, regardless of who hires them, should be neutral. She's not neutral. And it goes back to the appearance of bias. She went from employed by the DA's office to an expert for the DA's office with very little time in between. And now she has difficulties answering more technical questions than yes or no. Doesn't look good.
Some people run away from home at a young age, teenagers, right?
Yes.
Some people marry at a very young age, 16, 17 years old, right?
Yes.
Okay. Some people don't. Some people get married late in life, right?
Yes.
Okay. Some people are suffering from PTSD, perhaps veterans, right?
In general, yes. It's a diagnosis.
Yeah. And PTSD can be caused by a variety of things, correct? Not just being in Afghanistan, but maybe from your upbringing, correct?
I'm hesitating to answer that because I don't practice. I don't do clinical practice in Georgia. I'm not licensed in Georgia to do clinical. I'm only licensed in Florida.
Really? And you volunteered that information? Why are you only if you work in Georgia and Georgia alone, how are you licensed in Florida? Well, are you traveling back and forth between Georgia and Florida? This is so strange. She's been answering hypotheticals from the prosecution for an hour, but the moments the defense asks her something that should be within her training as an expert, she doesn't have to be licensed in Georgia to answer general hypotheticals about PTSD.
That's why I'm hesitating to kind of answer that, because I don't want to be unethical in the state of Georgia when it comes to like diagnoses. And
he's not asking you to make a diagnosis. He's asking for a hypothetical. Now, she is correct in that making diagnosis about people that aren't your client or patient. It's unethical. It's unethical for a psychologist. It is a glaring violation of the Goldwater rule for psychiatrists. Now, we do know that in certain areas of YouTube, with behavioral analysts with a psychiatrist degree or psychology degree, they don't care. They make diagnosis right, left, front, center, up and down, if they can make money out of it. But for proper psychologists and psychiatrists, they will not do what these certain people do on YouTube. So, yes, she doesn't want to go near that border, but for me, she's well within it because she already answered a lot of hypotheticals from the prosecution.
Well,
Mental health and a DSM-5.
let me put you at ease a little bit. I'm not going to ask you for a diagnosis today. You're not going to be sued for malpractice for anything.
I don't want to.
Just in general, I'm not a doctor either. You know, PTSD can be the result of all kinds of different kinds of trauma, correct?
Yes,
Post-traumatic, right?
yes,
It could be something that happened in your childhood. It could be something that happened when you were a teenager. It could be something that happened when you were in the military, right?
yes.
All those things can create PTSD. Is PTSD something that you see in your experience being part of the dynamic, the wheel, if you will?
No,
Okay. You don't see people who are suffering from mental health problems?
so when we talk about the definition of domestic violence, we practice as it is a choice. I'm trying to make sure I stay ethical.
Yeah, sure.
We practice it as a choice, you know.
Okay.
oh, the tone in his voice when he says, yeah, sure. Because he already exposed her as being a DA's office employee and immediately went into being a DV expert for this very DA's office. And she's talking about ethicals. I want to hear that again.
As it is a choice. I'm trying to make sure I stay ethical.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, she missed it. We didn't miss it. The jury definitely didn't miss it. Oh, wow.
We practice it as a choice, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm asking is, I apologize if my question was lousy, but either the abuser or the survivor might be suffering from mental health issues, correct?
Possibly.
Okay. If you look for the root cause of abuse, it might be, for example, infidelity.
The root cause, what we study is under the definition is exertion of power and control.
Well, that is the abuse. But the cause, if we treat it as something that's caused by something, either you and I, you're at least close to being a doctor. I'm nowhere close to being a doctor. Something causes either the person to be the abusive partner, and something causes the survivor to be susceptible to being. I'm not asking what abuse is. We'll get to that. I'm asking what causes it.
What causes is a choice. There's no diagnosis for domestic violence. There's no root causes of domestic violence. It is one individual making a choice that they.
What? What the actual fuck? What the actual fuck? Is this lady claiming that every instance of a person doing the domestic violence is a choice with zero underlying diagnosis, zero underlying problems, No, no, I highly doubt that is even remotely scientifically acceptable within the area of psychology or psychiatry to claim that there is no underlying issue, there's always an active choice. That's incredibly stupid. No.
Believe it's right to exert power and control over their partner.
Does the age and duration of the relationship have an impact on what would lead to abuse?
No.
I'm very sure that the defense have their own DV expert who would absolutely annihilate this expert in DV.
There may be problems with alcohol.
Yes.
There may be problems with drug abuse.
Within the relationship, yes.
Huh?
Oh, within the relationship, yes.
And there may be other, as I said, mental health issues involved that you have to deal with in the relationship.
Personally, each individual, they may have their own.
Right. You don't believe, and I think you said this to Ms. Hilton, that all abusive relationships are the same either.
Yes, each one is unique.
Right. Some may be more physically abusive, some may be more emotionally abusive.
Yes.
No expert would ever claim that all abusive relationships have the same characteristics or the same causes, correct?
Correct.
Your wheel, for example, that we had on the screen for a while. Remember this?
Yes.
This is demonstrative exhibit 75. I don't think we need to put it on the screen again, but I bet you've memorized this, haven't you?
Yes, it's one of my tools. So.
Yeah. How often have you used this in court?
Many times.
Okay. The wheel, each of the pie pieces, right? The wheel looks like a pie, kind of, right?
The spokes? Yes.
Well, you call them spokes, but I'm looking at the triangles as pieces of pie. Maybe that's because I'm thinking of food. But
sure.
And each of these pieces of pie have lists of examples of how intimidation is used, how emotional abuse is used, isolation, minimizing children, privilege, economic abuse. Did Ms. Hilton review this with you and say, let's see how many of these factors we can find in our case?
No.
Have you talked to her about it before?
I spoke with her about the power and control wheel, yes.
Okay. Did she talk to you about the fact that we are not involved in this case with ruining or destroying property? Are you aware of any evidence of that in this case, either through hypothetical questions or what you were told by the DA's office?
No, I'm not aware of any of
Anything
that.
to do with abusing pets?
I'm not aware of any.
Anything dealing with displaying weapons?
No.
Are you aware of any weapons in this case at all?
No, I'm not aware.
Okay. Are you aware of anything involving humiliation or playing games or anything like that?
No.
Are you aware of anything involving controlling what you do and what you read? Anything like that? Huh?
No.
Yeah. Are you aware of anything about joking about abuse? Do you know anything about that, or any hypotheticals asked you about that?
No, I don't know any.
Anything about shifting blame onto you?
No.
Anything about making you feel guilty about your kids?
No.
You know how old the kids are in this case?
No.
You know how old they are? You talked about a hypothetical of placing kids with the supposed abuser's parents as being a sign of control. How about if the kids are like 6 months old and they're placed with the man's parents?
I have no knowledge of how old the kids are in this case.
How the flaming fuck can you make assumptions about hypotheticals without knowing the basic facts of the case? I mean, that pie chart of hers has, what was it, 12 pies or slices. I think he removed with ease 8 of them. And now he's going into some that she did go into as a hypothetical. And as it turns out, she had no idea about the underlying facts of the case, that the kids were 6 months, a year and a half, something of the sort. And there's zero evidence that Mr. Wolfenbarger's parents had any history of abuse. And still, she testified during the direct examination as if it was. This is where it goes from being the appearance of bias, which I believe was already established, because she went from an employee of the DA's office to a freelancer for the DA's office, making in the region of $200,000 a year from the DA's office. Oh, thank you, DSM. Thank you. It is super sticker. It is a dancing pear, I think it is, or dancing lemon. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Any evidence of using a 6-month-old or a 1-year-old to relay messages?
No.
Using visitation?
No.
I'm kind of going through your wheel, but you know that, right? Any evidence of treating the person like a servant?
No.
Being the one to define gender roles?
No.
Using race, culture, religion, or citizenship against one another?
No.
Preventing anybody from getting a job?
No.
Are you aware that Ms. Wolfenbarger was working at Waffle House?
No. I don't know.
You were asked about isolation. Would you describe isolation as having an outside job, having friends, having your sister working with you? Is that isolation?
Depending on depending on what the domestic violence looks like. Like I said, every relationship is unique. Isolation doesn't fit in a box where it has to be one thing.
Right, but if the
Really? All of a sudden, you seem to be backpedaling like a maniac here, Miss James. Because in direct examination, isolation, yes, moving, away from her parents' home, into a house owned by his parents. But she worked. She had friends. She was out and about. There's literally, except some jackass testimony from a neighbor, we never saw her. There's literally no evidence of her being isolated. But in Miss Hilton's hypothetical, it was.
point of isolation is to prevent you from having, recourse to friends or communities, I think you said committees or whatever it is, You have a sister, you have a job, you have coworkers. That's not isolation, is it?
It could be for some relationships. I don't know any examples of that.
Okay.
I haven't interviewed anyone in this case.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with hypotheticals is if you add a few more facts, they get more and more confusing, right?
No,
Well, I just gave you more facts dealing with isolation. You said, well, I just don't know about that.
it wasn't confusing. I said that I haven't interviewed anyone in the case. I just can't speak to that.
Well, I'm not asking about your experience. I'm asking about your expertise. Would you describe that as being isolation?
It all depends on the nature of the relationship. Isolation isn't just one thing. I haven't interviewed anyone, so I can't answer that question.
Okay. The cycle of abuse, which is Exhibit 79, have you heard any evidence of a breakdown in communication? This is the tension building, number one. You heard any evidence about that or any hypotheticals about that?
No,
Have you heard any evidence of blaming, threats, intimidation, number two?
no,
Number three, abuser apologizes. Any evidence of that in this case that you know of?
no,
Gives excuses, blames the victim, denies abuse, anything like that?
no,
The fourth stage, calm. Any evidence of any of that in this case?
I don't have any evidence of this case. I haven't read any police reports. I haven't interviewed anyone. I'm not here for guilt or innocent. I'm just giving the science of what these tools mean and answering the hypotheticals as I'm asked.
Would you agree with me that many people who commit the crime of murder are not involved in an abusive relationship?
I can't answer that question because I don't know. I don't know.
You are aware from your experience that many people who are in an abusive relationship don't commit murder.
Yes.
Yeah, statistically, I know they were talking about this in the direct examination about, the most dangerous thing in an abusive relationship is when you leave. Well, it is a higher risk at the end of the relationship than during the relationship. That doesn't mean it is a high risk per se. Because I would be surprised if the number of deadly force, murder, greater bodily harm is above 1%. I would be surprised. And frankly, I don't know if it is different from a normal relationship where somebody leaves and the other one snaps. I don't know if there's any difference. Now, if you have those numbers, I will gladly see it. And if they say I'm wrong, I will gladly accept it and I will tell everybody I was wrong. Let's continue.
I know you say you know none of the facts in this case, but you know some by virtue of the fact of the hypotheticals that Ms. Hilton said, these are the ones I'm going to use. Do these work? Can we use these, right? So you know from her preparing you that these are going to be the facts of the case. She wouldn't be asking you about something totally irrelevant, would she?
No.
Okay.
She just formed her questions as hypotheticals, even though they were the alleged facts of the case. Mrs. K. Grift, hello. Have to run in a few. The tot wants to swim. She started kindergarten. Oh, she's growing up. Oh, hello. Hello, Mrs. K. Grift's daughter. Hello.
Did you tell her to change any of the hypotheticals to
No.
make them?
Oh,
Okay.
no,
Fine, good enough. I think you said you have no opinion whatsoever about this case, right?
I was called to do the science. I can't diagnose domestic violence. I can't do guilt or innocent. I'm not, I'm not a prosecutor or someone of the court.
I mean, I understand that, and I appreciate it. The point is that your testimony is just general observations about the way lots of different relationships that are bad exist, right?
No,
I use too many words that aren't appropriate, right? There are abusive relationships involving power and control. Your testimony focuses on that, but you don't know anything about this case, right?
No.
Correct?
correct.
Okay. And as Ms. Hilton said, you haven't read a single police report, right?
No,
If I
Again,
it's a problem with a negative question. That's correct, right? You haven't read a police report.
no, I haven't read a police report.
These jurors have heard, I don't know, a dozen witnesses. You didn't hear any witnesses at all, correct?
No,
You've not talked to the detectives in this case
no,
or the medical examiners,
no,
family members of the people involved,
no,
either the defendant or Ms. Melissa Wolfenbarger, correct?
no, I'm not an investigator. No,
Right. You haven't talked to, have you learned anything about her parents and her family and her upbringing,
no,
even from watching a little TV or learning a little bit about the case?
no,
No idea?
I have no idea.
Okay, all right. You haven't talked to me about this case, right?
No,
We had one brief court appearance together last week, but other than that, you and I don't know each other at all, right?
no.
Those are all the questions I had.
Ms. Hilton, anything else?
yeah, I mean, for me, he ruined her as an expert witness. First of all, I think it was a mistake by the prosecution to have this generalities from not even a doctor yet, who went from working for the DA's office in Fulton County to being a freelance for the DA's office, making roughly $200,000 a year, providing Fulton County DA's office with expert testimony, which she probably, if there is another DV case in Fulton County or another murder case involving DV in Fulton County, you can bet your ass she will be there again. Probably with a higher rate as soon as she finishes her doctorate. I don't know. I don't know why Hilton made the choice to have her there. But I mean, Miss Hilton is simply bad at her job. Here's an interesting fact, folks. Did you know that Simone Hilton is a tenured professor teaching trial strategy at a local law school? Miss Hilton, known from the YSL trial, now this trial, teaches trial strategy as a tenured professor. Now, with that knowledge, let's see how she handles this. Yeah, Miss Love is also a tenured professor at the same law school, by the way. You know who else is a tenured professor, which has nothing to do with this trial? Wendy Murphy, or at least she used to be one, who is an absolute lunatic. And I don't mean in the good sense of the word. If you are on X and you follow the Karen Reed case, you know who Wendy Murphy is. Is it an accredited law school? I think so. Let's see here. She is Emory University School of Law. Let's see here. It is ranked 38 in the United States. So top 50 law school, where she is a tenured professor. Yeah, so Emory School of Law. She's a tenured professor teaching trial strategy. Oh.
Now, Mr. Samuel asked about different parts of the cycle of abuse. Could arguing be something that occurs in the tension building phase?
Arguing? Folks, me and Miss Viking we've been doing great. I mean, for the past 8.5 years. But during and about a year after the big pandemic, yeah, it was tense because, as you might not know, Miss Viking is an ER nurse. So for about 2 years, we barely saw each other because I had to be, in order to visit her, I had to be self-isolated for 2 weeks just to make sure that I didn't catch any bug. Which, and in my line of work, during we're doing labor and employment law, I had fuck ton of work, swamped. So yeah, for 2 years we barely saw each other, and for the next year we had to get to know each other again. Yes, there was argument. Now we got through it and everything, but yeah, we've had arguments, and now could argument be a sign? Compared with what? Jesus fucking Christ.
Yes.
Loud arguing, could that be something in the tension building phase?
Yes.
What about dragging of hair? Could that be something that be in the physical abuse or incident part of the cycle of abuse?
Yes.
What about dragging someone up the street? Could that be a part of
was that
the
ever
incident
proven
phase of cycle of abuse?
Yes.
Okay. What about markings on necks consistent with strangulation? Could that be evidence of an incident of
Yes.
abuse?
Hypotheticals?
Could
These are claims that had been made. There was, at some point in time, she took out PTA. What is it? PTO? No, temporary restraining order, TRO, which she then retracted. Does that happen in abusive relationships? Of course it does. But also remember, Melissa came from an extremely abusive family. TPO. Thank you, Edvertin. That dragging from being alleged mugging. Well, if she's... So they're claiming that what was a possible mugging actually was from him. Well, you're about 27 years too late with actually saying that happened.
Victim or survivor who drops a TPO after a private meeting with a perpetrator be examples of what can happen in the reconciliation phase?
Yes.
Could.
Can a survivor, who after meeting with her abuser privately decides to give full custody and control over her child, something that can happen in the reconciliation phase?
Yes.
And give full custody of her child to the abuser's mother. Could that be something that happens in the reconciliation phase?
Yes.
Or two consenting adults who are both damaged goods, who are arguing high and low, determine it's better if the kids are at your parents' house because my parents, Melissa's, are serial killers. Oh, and thank you, Gypsy's Muse. Says, appreciate your dissection of this, Nick. This expert is 100% activist. She scoffs at real victims. I say this as a survivor. Thank you for your super chat. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that you are a survivor. I hope you are doing well and everything. I hope you're doing well now. And I, not with those words, but I agree with the I agree in general. This so-called expert seems to be of the opinion that only women can be abused. She acknowledged that it happens in other cases, but she seems to be of the opinion that only women can be abused. All right, let's continue.
If a survivor after an alleged abusive incident, once she called the police, goes back to the abuser, could that be something that happens in the reconciliation phase?
Yes.
If you're now hypotheticals, I know this court seems to have a different position on hypotheticals because these are allegations in this case. So she is giving, and we know they went through this before trial. These are the questions. These are the hypotheticals I'm going to use. Hypotheticals, in my opinion, should be used in the form of parallels. This is direct allegations, not parallels. They are just saying as an hypothetical and then give the fact. I mean, that's just stupid. Because now she's actually, in my opinion, giving her opinion about alleged facts in the case, which is not there for. And remember how she answered the defense. I'm not comfortable with answering this. But when Miss Hilton, her former employer, easy as butter.
Some examples of what you've seen about how the cycle of abuse can occur in a domestic violence relationship.
Yes.
I have no further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Samuel.
No, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. You may be excused. You can step down.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's about 3:05. We're going to take an afternoon break and probably 15 minutes, maybe 20. And we'll be back in here at 3:25.
Okay. Now we are an hour and a half in. For me, this is just ridiculous. This expert witness is, in my opinion, showing bias. It was brought forward by the defense by, okay, who was your former employer? Her. Who are you freelancing for now? Her. And how she acted. Now, we didn't see the direct examination because I get annoyed by Miss Hilton's voice. But I listened to it as it happened. I had it on in the background. And it is clear to me the difference between how easy she answered questions, because obviously they have been training. I'm asking this, you're answering this, la da 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 da. That is my interpretation of what went on. And then the defense with really simple questions. And all of a sudden, oh, I can't say that. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, no. But he still brought everything out of her that he could by within 3 or 4 questions, having her trained to say, like a Pavlov's dog with a bell, yes, yes, yes. I wouldn't use this person as an expert witness even if she paid me. Let me just say that. As I said early on in the stream, over here, where I practice, it's an obligation of an expert to remove themselves if there is the appearance of bias. And here it is not. I mean, it goes way beyond the appearance of bias. She's literally going from being an employee of the DA's office to a freelancer of this very DA's office. And there are plenty of experts in this area they could have used, but they chose her probably because she would give them the answers they wanted. She's well trained by the DA. So, folks, tomorrow the Donna Adelson trial starts. That is, I covered the Charlie Adelson trial. I went through the Kathy Magminima trial with you guys a few years ago, and now it is Donna Adelson. They are probably going to be done with the jury selection tomorrow morning before lunch. I will start the stream around 11 a.m. because when they start with the opening statements in the afternoon, we will have watched the opening statements against Kate and the opening statements against Charlie, so we can compare it with the opening statements against Donna, because I believe that whatever extra they have on Donna, we will notice in the difference in how they present the opening statements. So that is for tomorrow around 11 a.m. We will start with that. But thank you, folks. I hope you enjoyed this reaction to a lousy state expert witness. And from me and Mr. Jingles, who you know is the actual owner of this channel, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to do this. Thank you for the gifted memberships. Thank you for the super sticker. Thank you for the super chat. I'm very, very thank you. Thank you. Why are you licking my fingers, Mr.? He thinks my fingers are cat treats, probably. Yeah, so from me and the Snark Attack Studio, I will see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. with the Donna Adelson trial. You all have a good one, and I will see you guys in the next stream or video. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Slightly muzzle on him with a slight grin. Picks apart a case where the truth's been thin. Sharp tongue firing like a rebel's hell. Justice served with a snarky spin. Nick's got the mic and is breaking it down. Lego chaos spinning all around. Laughing at the lies at the courts of crown. Riding the edge where truth is found. Coffee's cold but the witch stays hot. Poking at the holes in the legal plot. With a tilt of the glass he connects the dots. The courtroom's wild and he calls the shots. Nick's got the mic and is breaking it down. Lego chaos spinning all around. Laughing at the lies at the courts of crown. Riding the edge where truth is found. Electric strums echo through the air. Justice tangled